welcome to another episode of Liqvd in Talks. Today's guest needs no introduction, obviously, but I'll still introduce him because he's a friend, so I can do it. So we have Krishnarao Buddha. Krishna, welcome to Lit.
Thank you.
30 years of fantastic experience of marketing. I actually have crafted a specific title for today's episode. It's called Mango Bites to Market Leadership. Krishnarao Buddha's FMCG Odyssey. So that's going to be the title of our, this episode. I think he has been part of an organization which we all know called Parle. So Krishna, first question, right? We all know that Parle is a fantastic house of brands which have built some amazing products. I mean, I'm not even talking about consumed, I'm saying entertained the Indian consumer in a certain way and touched our lives, right? So my first question to you is that when you joined, how did you guys, I'm sure there's a large team including the promoters, etc. Was there anything specific that you guys did which kind of gives us a handbook of how to build a house of brand for billion people?
Thank you so much, first of all, Arnab, for having me over here. Speaking of building brands, Parle always had this knack of innovating products, and we've seen a series of them. So beginning with the glucose biscuit, which obviously we all know as Parle G, to a series of brands like a Crackjack, a Monaco, a Hide Seek, a Happy, and brands like Mango Bite, Kacha Mango Bite, Poppins, Rola Cola, Kiss Me Toffee and Melody. These have been extreme and great innovations, beginning with the name, the packaging, the advertising, all of that, and focusing on relevant target audience. I think that has helped Parle to become a house of brands and accomplish so many brands under its name.
Thankfully, Liqvd also had good luck of working with you, as an agency for some of the brands from Parle. But I think one of the things that really amazes me is what you just said, right? I mean, the naming of the product, the entire image creation of a product, and I always could never really understand this. Of course, as an agency head or being in the advertising business, I've seen so many brands that are built in front of me, been part of those journeys. But the way you guys have created product names and then created the imagery of that product, I think it is amazing. I mean, we can be a little quirky and ask that what went in when you decided a product called Kiss Me. I want to know that. But in reality, honestly, but tell me what went in creating those images?
Creating and associating a brand with a strong visual hammer is most important. You mentioned about Kiss Me. So you tend to get inspired by certain names from abroad. Such a name existed and Parle sort of got inspired and named it as Kiss Me. In terms of imagery, that there is a mnemonic of a silhouette of a man and a woman, kissing or getting merging into one another. Right. So such strong imagery it really helps the brand so that it sticks into the minds of consumers.
And you spoke about this also in the earlier part that you said that continue to be innovating is very, very important, right? And then we remember getting to work with you when I think Parle was changing the price structure of the entire candy portfolio from a 50 paisa segment to a 1 rupee and a 1 rupee to a 2 rupee, right? Now, I want to genuinely understand that is it part of the, you spoke about innovation. Is it innovation or do you think it's natural evolution?
So suddenly RBI has actually sort of stopped the circulation of 25 paise. So we had no choice but to move on to 50 paise. The 25 paise confectionery remained in the market for quite a few years.
Yeah, exactly.
But even today, the brand offers 50 paise confectionery in the market, and it still contributes almost about 30% to the portfolio. Typically, marketers look at upgrading consumers from certain price point to the current price points. I think it's a continuous process. We've moved on 4 rupees 100 gram pack to a 5 rupee price point because we felt that 5 rupee price point is the one which is going to contribute big. And as a result, now 5 rupees is a large contributor to the brand's portfolio.
Generic sense is that if there was no 25 paisa circulation, if I have 50 paisa, I would end up buying 2 of them.
Absolutely.
So why would you still make it at 50 paisa?
Like you rightly said, 1 rupees mein do. Okay. So there are kids who buy as a ritual while going on their way to the school or coming back from school.
27 years or 30 years in one brand, of course, multiple products and brand lines that you created from a completely non-digital era to a completely digital era that you have seen in front of your eyes. Would you kind of share with us that did your marketing handbook change?
Organizations kept their eyes and ears open. They were extremely vigilant to adapt the changes. Television continues to contribute a big chunk, but at the same time, there has been a rapid movement, more so post-COVID.
Okay.
So 21 onwards, a significant rise in terms of investment
Obviously.
towards digital.
And I'm sure I would have some young followers to, look at your career and navigating the path. I think you started with one brand and reached out to a senior category manager where I think almost 30 brands, were taken care of. But we don't talk about the brand so much, but I want to know your personal journey, that how did you navigate this tectonic marketing waters, if I may call it.
Yeah, I have had the opportunity to work on some really iconic brands like the VIP Frenchie, VIP Designer, Uncle Chips.
Uncle Chips, yes,
yeah?
I know this. I think there was nobody else when
Absolutely.
Uncle Chips was
So
there.
yeah.
Else,
So and subsequently
Other
Ruffles or
Western
Lays
brands
came in.
correct,
Yeah.
Lays came in, right.
Okay. When I joined Parle, so there also I was given a portfolio comprising of a few biscuit and confectionery brands. Thankful to the organization which gave me so much of autonomy actually to handle the brands. I would keep telling the teammates, just keep looking or gazing at your packs. And also your competition packs. So if you look at gazing your brands and your numbers, suddenly you will realize there is something which is not really going right at a certain
Something
point
is
or
missing,
certain market, something is missing, and then immediately you will come up with some solution or the other.
Today, in the world that we're in, I was in a part of a panel when somebody said that loyalty is a virtue of the past.
Yes.
Right? Do you agree to that statement?
I agree.
Right? So which means from a legacy to a legacy-free world is where we are moving at.
Absolutely.
Right? I just got to know about this amazing young 25-year-old guy who came back from US and started building a sneaker brand, and right now he's selling at some 400-500 crore market cap, right?
Wow.
And he has got only 4 kind of sneakers, and he is just designing them and selling them. Then you have the Adidases of the world, Nikes of the world, and all of them have used like 50 years, 100 years of legacy. Right? When you look at this entire D2C set of brands that we keep on hearing every day, right? What is your take? Is it where the world has evolved to be?
Consumers are now very well traveled. In the past couple of decades, we have seen immense growth.
Right.
There is a lot of disposable income on the hands of consumers, and consumers are now actually have the buying power, and they are now spoiled for choices.
Right.
So there is immense opportunities. There are many such brands that we've seen which have actually emerged. Entrepreneurs actually have identified some white spaces and provided some great solutions. So many a times, ask consumers, they won't know what they want.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But as entrepreneurs, it's our responsibility to see what would suit or fit their needs and actually provide goods and services in those spaces. We can definitely expect some great success coming in the path.
So, one of my favorite part of my marketing journey of almost 20-23 years now has been, a brief period in my last job. I was actually greatly into content integration, right? It is also in many ways a sharp marketer like you positioning the product traditionally, culturally into the family without even them realizing, right?
Absolutely.
So what is your take on the entire content integration of products?
So it may not deliver instant result, but what happens is slowly and steadily, if you are able to integrate yourself in a very, very engaging content on any platform, what happens is eventually consumers start to accept that as a part of their lives. That brand, I'm saying. We realize the power of such content integration, and as a result, we've chosen and we've consciously taken initiatives, of course, with our agency partners, to have our brands placed across very, very compelling, very integrating, engaging content. I'm saying probably not in the short term, but in the long term, we have seen great fan following or consumer loyalty getting developed for such brands.
So one of the questions that I genuinely want to understand is product placement, right? And the cultural association.
Yes.
When you did something like this, does it drive brand preference?
It does. We've done several road shows, especially for rural markets. And that has actually benefited and yielded terrific results. So where we have tried to integrate and by way of giving some skits which the consumers could relate with. and different markets and different content. Okay,
Right.
there were not many sources of entertainment, so even a skit happening in a small rural village was a novelty, and there would be a large gathering, and they would actually enjoy and relate such content integration.
So there are some campaigns just kind of kept with me, like I stayed with me because it changed me as a person, it changed my perspective on marketing. Is there anything that stood with you with this, some campaigns that you did which you think have got a lasting?
Yeah, of course. I'll again cite another example of Kacha Mango Bite ad actually.
Yes. I was hoping you would do that.
so there was no budget and there was no intent to advertise such a brand because it was seen more as an extension of
Correct,
Mango
Mango
Bite.
Bite already.
We felt it was okay kind of an ad. As soon as it was released, started generating terrific response. So that was an eye opener. The brand never stopped after Kacha Mango Bite ad. So one wonders, and it's a wishful thinking for a child, a flow of Kacha Mango Bite coming in. As soon as you put in a raw mango inside a Xerox, it's a photocopier.
Right. You've also heard that we acquired a new performance marketing agency recently,
Congratulations.
right? Yeah. So do you look at performance marketing differently, or you think brand marketing's outcome should be performance?
I think the other way. Brand marketing or brand result sort of translating into performance is the core here. I'm talking about in the digital world per se. The brand delivering results itself is a performance.
So, that actually brings me to a very interesting question, because I get this lot of queries from D2C brands these days, right? When a D2C founder is looking at their profitability, right, they're getting the numbers, but they're not really knowing who their audience was ending up buying it, because they're buying it from the Q-coms and the e-commerce of the world.
Correct.
And they're not getting any data about the consumer, right?
Correct.
But you said that ultimate goal is brand should be profitable.
Absolutely.
So they probably are profitable, but they don't even know who are buying it.
Yeah.
So as a D2C founder, should they be very happy with it, or they should think that no, there could be a balance for me to, maintain this better?
Yeah. So it is definitely critical for the D2C brands to get the data, actually to understand, to dissect who is buying. Because the closer you understand the kind of consumer that you have, it will be better for you to focus your strategies targeted towards such an audience. So now these days, platforms are more than willing to provide data.
Can you talk about something that you think that the young D2C founders are probably getting it wrong about their market fitment?
Suppose if some CPG brand starts initiating D2C as a project, okay, I feel it's going to be extremely challenging. Let's look at an organization which is into multiple categories, but not necessarily in a leadership position in all the categories. So what happens is, as a consumer, I want to choose the number one brand in every category. But if you don't have, that's a put off. My take on D2C founders is that you have to be conscious of the category that you are in, and that will determine your success.
We keep on hearing a lot about mental health and therefore, your ability to cope up with whatever is going on, right? And like I'm calling this segment a crisis and comeback, right?
Yes.
And you must have seen immense of those upheaval going down and coming ups in the last 30 years. Is there a formula to stay course?
The question is also linked to the kind of environment that the organization provides. There are organizations which have very, very conducive work environment where employees find it to be extremely exciting to come to every day morning, and they are like passionate about working in that environment. And there are organizations, unfortunately, which have extreme pressure. It starts impacting the mental health. The onus is upon every individual employee at whatever level to provide a great working environment. I think that's the message to the entire team at large as you climb up the ladder.
Okay, super. So that brings me to the last phase of our chat today. It's what we do, like a rapid fire.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to call it the Buddha metrics. Okay. And it's going to like 5-6 fast questions.
Sure.
You have to respond immediately as soon as you can.
Absolutely.
Okay? So first question, Kirana or quick commerce?
Kirana.
Tell us why.
So Kirana has been the stay put, and I'm sure the mom and pop store is here to stay forever. Okay, so there is a migration, there is a quick commerce, but I'm saying it's extremely next to impossible to replace your Kirana, next door Kirana.
Okay. Brand recall or repeat purchase?
I think it starts with brand recall. I think brand recall is the most important. If you don't know the recall, so you're not going to go for the repeat purchase at all. I think so. It's extremely critical for a marketer to ensure that your brand is stamped in the mind.
Okay, that's my next question. Market share or mind share?
Market share. Okay. So I think I have seen brands which have had immense mind share, but no market share. So it does not translate into business. So I would say I would go with a market share.
Okay. ATL or digital?
Digital.
Okay. Tell us why.
There is a lot more consumption towards digital, the largest medium in the next decade or so.
Distribution width or depth?
Difficult question, I think, because one follows the other. So you need to have both width and depth. So you cannot isolate one.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, Krishna. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a person who has turned candies into a national identity. So in this episode, we have Krishnarao Buddha, and he's opened his playbook. Thank you for watching Lit, Liquid in Talks. Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Arnab. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Same here, my pleasure. Thank you.